Hello. Happy Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. I am Manila Chan. That over there is Ted Rall. You are tuned in to the Ted Manila Information Show, or TMI Show for short, because we obviously bring you way too much information. Some informational updates about the show. No shows the rest of the week. Just a reminder, no shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, especially on the high holiday, Black Friday.
If you're not out shopping, the terrorists who have already won will have won even more.
They'll win harder, Ted. So you got to go out there and celebrate all the money that we've been saving from tariffing, as the president insists.
It's just a coincidence that tariff and terror start with the same homonymal whatever that's called. Yeah. Syllable.
The beginning sounds the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Ted and I usually do this live Monday through Friday, usually all week, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So please, if you're wherever you're watching, please be sure to hit the like button, the follow, the subscribe, and share the content, because that's how more people can discover us. So if you're not in that position to become a paid monthly subscriber, you can do it for free by helping us out by sharing the content. So that goes a really long way. So that's a little bit of housekeeping. No shows the rest of the week. And Ted, the first Thanksgiving, and this is something I looked up. The first Thanksgiving, what they're referring to is a 1621 meal between the Pilgrims and the native Wampanoag. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Wampanoag people. And then maybe they went off and slaughtered them. Maybe not that meal, though, Ted.
Well, they're not here to tell us that. They're not here anymore to tell us. They're not here to tell us anymore why we're mispronouncing their names. But I wonder why that is. Whatever happened to them? Did they just leave, or something bad happen? I don't even know.
They might have gotten some blankets as a gift, Ted. There's that. Trading for, like, here's some corn, and the Pilgrims were like,
they seem such an innocent gift.
Here's some blankets. Also, did you know in 1863, Abraham Lincoln finally declared
warm and cozy.
Abe Lincoln declared a National Thanksgiving Day on the final Thursday of November to be celebrated each year. And he said a large meal shared with loved ones is the centerpiece of the Thanksgiving celebrations. And then I guess historically, the average gathering size for Thanksgiving dinner is about 7 people. And most persons consume between 3,100 to 4,500 calories in that one sitting, Ted. Modern day Thanksgiving. But I would say that's no different in the average American diet every day. Am I wrong? I don't know if Ted.
Was that you or was that me?
What's me? What are you asking about? Is there a delay?
Oh, I'm just not seeing you sometimes. I don't know if you're freezing. You're freezing for me, but I don't know if I'm freezing for you.
No, you were not freezing for me, but I'm not sure if you heard everything that I said. And also another turkey or Thanksgiving, another Thanksgiving tidbit. What began as a neighborly meal to celebrate a successful harvest has transformed into an annual economic and cultural powerhouse. The day before Thanksgiving is one of the busiest days for the year for air travel, as Americans prepare to eat upwards of 40 million turkeys and 80 million pounds of cranberries. Ugh, really? Okay. So there you go. Some Thanksgiving.
Half of that is at Chris Christie's house.
Oh, Ted. Oh. Well, like I said, I don't know.
Lots of guests.
Yes, that must be it. Well, 7 is the average size of the table settings for Thanksgiving. And I don't know if you missed this tidbit, but the studies show most people consume roughly 3,000 to just under 5,000 calories on Thanksgiving Day. But my argument is that that is the normal American diet anyway. That many calories. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I think it's over the 2,000 recommendation. That's for sure. So that's Thanksgiving in a nutshell, guys. So I don't know how you guys will be celebrating, but I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Nerd, thank you so much. With family. Thank you for the donation. He says, "Happy TMI Tuesday. Have a great Thanksgiving week, Sam." Thank you for the donation, Nerd.
Thank you so much.
Maybe you're in. I think Nerd said that he was listening to us while driving to Kentucky.
That's right.
Is that where Thanksgiving is taking place this year in Kentucky? Do they do things different in Kentucky? I don't know, but thank you.
The second Thanksgiving was in Kentucky. Yeah.
That's right. Not with the Wamapoag people. All right.
No,
so
with other difficult to pronounce Native Americans whose names survive as the names of shopping malls, but who are no longer with us.
Oh, all right. So with that, let's hop to the news. All right. First things first. So as it turns out, America's youth mental health crisis is exploding and schools are buckling under the weight. America's kids are struggling, and the system meant to support them is running out of air. Schools across the country report historic surges in anxiety, depression, school refusal. I'm not sure what that actually means. Like, I don't want to go to school?
Yeah, school refusal is literally like, you wake up your kid in the morning and they're like, "I'm not going to school." And then you're
like all through history? It's not like...
Yeah, well, but see, like in ancient times, like when I was a child, your parent would beat the shit out of you and drag your ass to school.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that was a better system, but I'm just saying that it meant that school refusal wasn't a significant problem.
No, that's not an option. That wasn't an option in the 80s either.
So beatings, the beatings had to become more discreet. And so now when your kid's like, you're like, "Pretty please with sugar on top, could your Royal Highness please
get up to go to school?
Please get up and go for your education, which will surely at some point in the future, you'll learn why the Pythagorean theorem is the key to your happiness. Please get up and go." So no, it's a serious problem. I mean, and like parents are at their wits' end. School refusal I can't believe you've never heard of this. I mean, you have a kid.
Well, I mean, but he's 7, so he's like excited to go to school.
Well, yeah, this happens more to teenage. These are teenagers, like 13, 14-year-olds. Like, fuck you, you can't make me go. I'm going to stay home and do drugs and eat shit and die.
Awful.
And then you have to send your kid to like wilderness therapy for $50,000 a month. That's what happens.
Ew, awful. I don't
no, it's like it's like white teenagers gone wild. That's what it is.
I didn't like teenagers when I was a teenager, Ted. So I don't know about other teenagers. I don't know. But anyway, so that's up. School refusal. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like I said, that's not in my repertoire.
Well, I hope it's not something you ever have to deal with, because I barely had a soupçon of it. But like I had friends who really, really went through that as parents. And they, I mean, literally it cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars to whip their kids back into shape.
Oh my God. Okay. We got to save comment for that. Robbie's got kids in high school now. So probably,
I have a feeling they're not
he can weigh in.
To school ever.
I don't, like I said, refusal to go to school was not in my repertoire growing up.
Well, not to mention if your parents were pussies, when they could have just called the police and the police would have come and dragged your ass to school, because at least in Ohio, it's against the law for anyone under 16 not to go to school.
Yeah,
so they take
ditching is illegal in or was anyway. I don't know about now, but ditching in the 80s and 90s was illegal in California. And so if the police caught you, the truancy cops, they would grab you and
it wasn't pretty.
take your ass to school. So,
Yeah. No, for sure.
So that was a thing back then. I don't know about, I don't know what they do now, but we could ask Robbie because he's got kids.
We live in a more, obviously a more promiscuous time. Let's put it that way. Or permissive.
Self-harm
and promiscuous.
Self-harm is apparently way up, and behavioral meltdowns. I know that's a thing with smaller kids, so that's probably more relevant to me. I can speak to that. I know that. A youth mental health emergency has morphed from a quiet trend, who calls it a trend, into a daily 5-alarm fire. And the numbers back it up. ADHD diagnoses in children have climbed past 11%. Autism diagnoses have more than doubled in the last 2 decades, now affecting 1 in 36 kids. And ER visits for youth mental health crises have risen sharply since 2020. What happened in 2020? The CDC estimates that in any given classroom, at least 20 to 25% of students are navigating a diagnosable mental health condition, diagnosed or not. That's weird.
This is
weird way to frame it.
Obviously written by someone who had too much school refusal during grammar school.
Okay. Schools already understaffed and overburdened have become the front-line mental health clinic for millions of kids. Counselors are overwhelmed. Teachers feel like untrained therapists. And administrators say they're paddling upstream with bricks tied to their ankles. One principal told investigators bluntly, quote, "We don't even do academics first anymore. We do triage." Experts point to a convergence of forces: soaring screen time, algorithm-driven social media harm. That's all one thing. Algorithm-driven social media harm. Family instability.
That just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
I guess it's a thing. So that would be ADSMH. Algorithm-driven social media harm. Family instability, chronic sleep deprivation, that's all teenagers though, learning loss, pandemic trauma, and near total collapse of in-person peer interaction. Kids now enter school less regulated, less resilient, and less socially equipped than cohorts even a decade prior. And the debates keep getting louder. RFK Jr., one of the most polarizing figures in public health discourse, has repeatedly connected environmental exposures, toxins, and childhood illness clusters to rising neurodevelopmental diagnoses. While mainstream medical institutions reject many of those claims, the broader truth remains. Parents across the political spectrum feel something is off, and demand for evaluations has exploded so fast that many states are experiencing wait lists measured in months and even years. Meanwhile, schools are improvising. Telehealth therapy carts are rolling into nurses' offices. Crisis intervention teams are replacing traditional disciplinary models. Teachers now track panic attacks as routinely as homework. But these are band-aids on a nationwide arterial bleed. Here's the blunt reality. America's youth mental health crisis is not drifting. It's accelerating. Schools are overwhelmed, families are overwhelmed, and policymakers are playing catch up to a problem growing faster than the interventions meant to stop it. Unless there's a structural reset, more counselors, better training, reduced screens, updated curriculum, real family school partnerships, the crisis won't just reshape education, it'll reshape an entire generation. So Robbie, I'm going to pop Robbie on too, because I guess there's kids at different stages here. Like I have a little one, Robbie's got high school kids, and Ted, you've got a young adult in college. I could speak to what COVID did to the little ones, because I would agree. My son and much of his cohort were toddlers at the time that COVID happened, when they would have otherwise been like in pre-K programs, to kind of to socialize them. Those things were all shut down. So they're a little bit behind in terms of knowing how to behave correctly, sit in class. And because I was doing those things when I was 3 years old, but when he was roughly 3 years old, the world was shut down. And everyone was wearing masks. So everyone kind of talks weird in his age group. Some better than others. But my son is like delayed in speaking because like everyone was this. We're in Northern Virginia. Everyone looked like this. So he never saw people's mouths.
Apparently you learn how to, you learn how to speak. We talked about this on our old show.
Yeah, just
that you look at when you learn a language, including obviously your first language, you look at the facial movements. It's a very key thing, and that's how you learn. And the masking
and facial
thing,
reactions.
It's
and like
the lack of facial reactions. I mean, I still find it spooky when I see someone wearing a mask. And I'm like, why are you wearing a mask? And it's spooky.
Yeah.
It's like,
and a lot of them are deadpan in the face. Like you can't, you see only their eyes and they have no reaction. So that
everyone's living in the Muslim world now.
I know. I can speak to how that has affected my son's age cohort. So the Gen Alphas, he's like right in the thick of Gen Alpha. So they're adjusting, these Gen Alpha kids, because they're catching up. They're catching up to where they need to be in terms of social adjustment.
Hopefully.
I think most of them. But one thing that they did habituate to, unfortunately, was screen time, because all the things like that, he was the only way I could get him any social interactions, all these like kiddie programs, like let's say like I'm just using names like Little Jim. I'm just throwing these, Gymborees or whatever. You know what they were doing, Ted, during COVID? Instead of having in person, they did like a mass Zoom for little ones. And so you're sitting there with your kid, instead of in real life in a circle at the little gym or whatever, and like you're sitting with your kid in your lap and clapping their hands and doing whatever. Instead of doing that, it became virtual. That's what we did during COVID. So very early on, Gen Alpha was forced to be exposed to screens, and seeing people like this, the way we're looking at each other on screens, became the norm for them. Oh, Ted's internet went out, but you hear what
Ted's
I'm saying,
gone.
Robbie.
Yep,
Ted's gone for now, but that's part of the delay, and I think that's part of what messes up children's, especially my son's age, their grasp on what's real and what's not, because for them, this was reality. If your first play dates are on a screen, you start thinking that's life.
Sure. No, well, no, here's the thing. Education's always been a premium in my family because, one, my kids know how I grew up. And so if you grow up, not having the opportunity to go to school, then you take education for granted. You'll take education for granted. So that's one of the things that we just really just pounded into both of our kids. Plus, I think this is a big miss for the secular world. Our kids have been in church since the day they were born. So I mean, they were socialized in Sunday school and in church. I mean, from the youngest possible age. So did COVID impact them? Yeah, sure, it did. But not to the point where you have some kid and the only social interaction they have is school. I mean, that's one of the big misses that really the secular people, they miss out on, is they don't have all these people they're able to talk to. They don't have a support system that they're able to engage with. All you have is a government-run system, and if the government gives it to you, then the government can obviously take it away, like they did in COVID. And so that's just, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that my kids, maybe they're an anomaly, but they were not impacted the way that your son was, just because they just
they're older. They're older, obviously, but when COVID happened, but
yeah, they were in third grade.
Do you think it was because you're in Montana?
Well, it's because we were in church. I mean, that's a big part of it, right? Because if you, like, for example, Thomas, he took his first step in Sunday school class. And so you're around all these little kids, and you have the Sunday school teacher, and they're reading to you. And then you listen to the preacher talk. And so you hear all these people talking, and they're using big words because we use the King James Bible at our church. It's a Baptist church. And so you get exposed to a more difficult language. You get exposed to, to more complex thought patterns than Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I think that's a big part of it. But also, though, not to toot my own horn, I never went to high school. And so one of the reasons why I've been unemployed all my life is, I have a high school diploma, but I have very little formal education. And so I understand the impediment that has. And so me and Kizzy both, we just ground on them as like, I don't really care if you think that education is a drag. This is something you have. Your interest is optional. Your proficiency is mandatory.
I mean, right. So did you ever have to deal? Did you ever have to deal with this school refusal thing? That I'm not at that stage yet. So
no, I beat that ass.
Figuratively, metaphorically.
Oh no, I do. Oh no, no, 100%.
And the vaccine is safe and effective.
I used a wooden spoon and I tanned their little brown butts. And if they did not do their homework, there was a price to be paid. If you defy me, you will pay a price. If I provide the roof over your head and the food in your stomach and the clothes that you are wearing,
let me tell you,
you will do these things. And if you do not do so, you will pay a price.
Let me tell the audience out there, because I've known Robbie for several years and I've seen his children go from like not little like my son, but little kids still, like middle school to young adult teenagers. And they are some of the brightest, most polite,
they're fantastic kids. Yeah,
well-adjusted children. Like they're intelligent and very kind and sweet and thoughtful, like well-meaning kids, right? Versus where I live in Northern Virginia, most of the teenagers that are there, Robbie's kids' ages, are little shit asses. They are little shit ass, disrespectful, no manners, like do whatever they want, look however they want, and their parents are like, oh well, so and so is just, he's got these problems, and I talked to the therapist and he wants to wear a dress, and like
that's not an option. That is not an option in the West household.
So those are the kids that I see in my very deep blue Northern Virginia, like upper middle class community, where all of these problems that I just rattled off, I don't see these same problems when I go home to the hood in the 562. These problems are not, this is not a thing in the 562. I don't see problems of like kids being little shit asses to their parents, defying their parents. This is an upper middle class problem, is what I would say.
It's also a perfect storm. It's a lot of causes, right, guys? I mean, it's not one thing. But like, for example, among one of the causes, that one of the things that we're seeing is some schools that are experimenting, including in New York City, with total bans on devices in class. Kind of amazing to me that that's not standard everywhere. But they see first there's a lot of complaints, and then they see really good results in very short time. The kids are more engaged. They're paying more attention. As you'd expect. It's not like, it's really not rocket science, but what's gone wrong? I mean, it's kind of like,
I think what's wrong, Ted, is that for a lot of people, especially women, is that they don't have a husband at home, and that they look at the state as their husband, and the state is a very bad husband. It's a bad boyfriend. And so you have no discipline at home.
Abusive relationship.
You don't have, for example, the reason why Courtney and Thomas are the way that they are is because they have a mom and they have a dad at home, and they have two parents who instilled on them from a very young age discipline and respect. Like, for example, when we first moved here to Montana, I don't know, Thomas is maybe 5 years old. He held a door open for this lady over at a restaurant called Perkins. It's out of business. The woman got mad. How dare you have your son hold the door open for me? Because how dare you do this? Do you think I'm incapable of holding the door? I said, no,
I hold the door open. I hold the door open for anyone who needs the door held for them, male, female, young, old, whatever.
Well, that's just
for people.
Because
Even I do that to men. I don't like if I'm in front, I just keep it open and then you can come in too.
Yeah, this woman saw it as a sign of the patriarchy, and that told her to go.
Lord.
I told her to go sit on a cactus. I mean, y'all know me. I have no
a
problem
little
speaking
boy,
my mind.
That's
how awful are people?
That's insane.
And so, and no, but I mean, I think that's just a big part of the problem, honestly. And you can call it a right wing talking point and whatever. I think a big part of the problem, honestly, I think is twofold. People need to figure out that the best way for a child to have an advantage growing up is to have a mom and a dad at home.
Well,
mom and dad to be engaged.
Well, as a child of divorce, I would agree with that. Unless, of course, but I have to say the only thing that would have been worse than my extremely bad childhood with just my single mom, and it was a very bad childhood in every respect. It's like would have been if my father had been home, because my parents just couldn't get along. They were so incompatible, and there would have been I'm sure, even more violence.
Yeah. No, it's possible. I mean, like I said, man, there is no silver bullet. And I'm not going to come over here and say, that this is going to work for 100% of the people. It's obviously not the case. But as an average, and the numbers back me up on this with your statistics. Ted, you like statistics? You're
I love statistics. I do.
I mean, if you want a kid to have the most head start available in life,
best shot
is to have a mom and a dad at home who are invested
the numbers.
in that kid.
The numbers bear that.
No, that's true. And if you look at any kind of this polling about where the kids are the most depressed or whatever, are the kids in the biggest cities with the most well-to-do parents, or at least beyond a certain threshold. Like if your household income is over the American median, which is only 75,000. So if it's above that, it tells you it's kids in the middle to upper middle class. The rich kids have their own whole set of problems, but it's
I never believed that. My mother and I always, who grew up, I grew up very poor. Were always convinced that that rich people couldn't have any problems that they couldn't buy their way out of. And then I moved to New York City and I went to Columbia
you met
with a
rich
bunch
people.
of very rich people. Yeah. And it was like, I remember calling my mom and I was like, they really do have problems. They really do.
One of the things that we did, we moved here to Montana. And again, this will probably be controversial for some folks. Might get some hate mail. It is what it is. Our economic system is a big part of the problem, because we have a system where both parents are expected to work, and then you have to pay someone else to watch your kid in the form of daycare. That is another massive, huge problem.
And you're paying someone who is neglecting their own kids at home to come take care of yours.
And so what me and Kizzy did when we first moved here to Montana, I worked 3 different jobs so she could stay at home with our kids, and I worked. And that makes a difference. Ladies, if you have a guy and if you have kids with that guy, make sure he's willing to work as much as possible so you can stay home with those kids, because those little kids, they need their mom. They don't need a stranger. They need their mom. And then you got to have a guy who's also willing to make a stand whenever is needed. For example, when the kids went to middle school, the teachers hated me, literally hated me. Because we went into their English class, and this woman, she had a book with a nice little rainbow flag on the cover, talking about Jillie and Jane and her 2 moms. And I got the book, I walked over to the trash can, and I dropped it in the trash can, and I said, no, this is not allowed. And so that's what you got to have, though. I mean, you cannot let the state be the parents of your kids.
This article did come from the New York Times Magazine. Mm-hmm. So we know which way politically that publication leans, especially in the magazine. So if you didn't think the Daily, the paper, was left leaning enough, the magazine.
What are you talking about? I've never heard of that, Manila, ever.
What, that the magazine
I've been reading the New York Times since
left?
1981. I've worked for the New York. I've done freelance for the New York Times and for the magazine. And
you don't think they're super, super lefty at the magazine?
I don't know. It's all the same thing, man. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
They're all down there at 8th Avenue and 42nd
left.
Street. They're the same people.
So they're like more. more left to me. I think this is where they get to, because that's who their audience is and that's who's buying it. So when they
But the magazine's an
spew
insert.
out,
The magazine's an insert in
Yeah.
the Sunday paper.
in the Sunday, yeah. So I think whoever is the editor of that, I think they are even, at least what I've seen the last few years,
I call bullshit on
is
that. Okay, anyway.
extra lefty. And because they're always talking about extra, like the statistics that they always bring up, they never give you the caveat of who this polling is. And I've done stories on this for years and years and years. So when you see this kind of polling, it's seldom a problem with rural or poor, like ghetto kids like me.
Yeah, because come on, rural kids are
they have different problems.
I was gonna say, right? I mean,
It's different.
seriously.
But when they're talking about this stuff specifically, they never tell you like who this polling is.
Yeah, they're not doing
where
school. They just drop out of school really young, and
so they don't. Yeah, they're not giving you the full
they're
picture.
feral.
As someone who lives in a rural place and who grew up in a rural place, I can tell you right now that rural America is being destroyed. It's being
totally true.
and totally annihilated. It is dying. And
opioids are a huge symptom and cause.
Yeah, drugs and alcohol, and you have the epidemic. I mean, of a single child of single parent homes. It's not good. It is not good, and it needs to come to an end. And for anyone who's listening, again, I know it's going to be controversial and be called a white supremacist. I don't care. Ladies, you have a responsibility about who you open your legs for. Men, you have a responsibility. Well, if you do that, you need to put your name on that thing.
I will say,
you need to stick around.
Put a ring on it if you like it. Put a ring on it.
Yeah,
the hood where I'm from, Robbie. Back in the 90s, there were dropout rates that were really high.
Yeah.
High school pregnancy rates were really high. I gotta say, like where I'm from, and it's primarily a Mexican American. I don't mean Mexican immigrant. I mean they multi-generational Mexican American. There was a lot of unwed mother, young teenage pregnancy back then when I was in school. It has improved so much where I'm from. Like it's near the East LA border, and I mean. The hood almost doesn't exist anymore in LA. It's almost
gentrification has taken place.
I was about to say, is that because the people clean up their acts and start being more responsible, or because they got pushed out by rich people?
Both. Both things have happened. So a lot of people. Well, I mentioned this on the show before, but a lot of people, like if you go to what would be considered the black neighborhoods that were more, like. Just outside of downtown LA, like near Staples Center, that's where like Compton, Inglewood, all of that between downtown LA and LAX, that's like the black neighborhoods. Those people have sold off and made a boatload of money, and now their home is SoFi Stadium. So the condos that have popped up, everything has been priced out. So the hood has not only been priced out, but the people that have been able to remain, they themselves have adapted, or you can say acclimated, to everything being on social media and how it's not cool to be a ghetto gangbanger anymore. That's not cool in LA anymore. You don't really see lowriders like bouncing their cars, baby mamas walking up and down Norwalk Boulevard. You don't see that anymore. Walking down Slauson. You don't see that
the
anymore.
death of a once
it's a combination of all those things.
Yeah.
It was. So I will say for the hood folks, hood kids like me, it's actually a really great thing. I don't love gentrification because it takes away a lot of the flavor and culture of a town.
Oh, I hate it.
But there is the upside. The upside, at least for me, is less murders, less drugs, less robbery, less teenage pregnancy. So
Manila, I'm going to have to call BS on that a little bit, because if you go to San Francisco,
I'm not from San Francisco. I'm from LA. I don't know.
But that's the point that I'm making, is that poor people, they move too, and so as they get pushed out.
Well, they're not moving to San Francisco. San Francisco is where people move out of because it's so expensive because of Silicon Valley.
whatever LA's version of San Francisco is. I'm sure you can go plenty of places and you just see people peeing and crapping and dying on the streets. I mean, there are problems.
We still have homeless, obviously, in downtown LA. That's a different problem. But as far as the kids go,
Yeah.
The problem that we had in the 90s with where I grew up, what I saw was gang banging. I mean, I know off the top of my head 6 people that have been fucking murdered. 6, and not counting car accidents, not counting the way, 50 million ways to die. I'm talking about gang banging, deaths, murders, like assaults. I know 6 people. So that
Man, you're
didn't
like
get
that
to
Jim
make
Carroll
their
song. The people who died, they were all my friends. They died.
They were my friends, and they didn't get to see their 18th birthday because of, this is what the youth problem was in the 90s where I'm from. And those problems are almost non-existent now where I'm from. And
All right.
I'm happy to see that.
Okay, so but what is let's get back to our story here. I mean, here's the thing. Our young people are really, there's a piece that John and I were going to talk about on Deprogram. We didn't have time because there was breaking news vis-a-vis the Ukraine deal. But basically, this is something we could talk about. I think I did send it to you, Manila, about the Gen Z people and like why aren't they protesting against Trump or in general, against like
it's only older white people.
Yeah. And and it is written by this guy Brendan Nyhan, who is an asshole. But basically, he tends to, but he's right about this. And basically, he's like, well, it's not like young people don't have a lot to bitch and moan about. Shit really sucks for them. So why are they not why are they not in the streets? And basically, it's because they don't think it would do any good. They've given up. They basically are like, life sucks. It's not going to get better. And, I might as well save my energy for the sofa because and they're not wrong, really, because protesting does not make any difference. That's been seen at least since the U.S. invasion of Iraq, when there were big protests and nothing happened to stop. It didn't make any difference. It didn't help. Basically, I think the problem here is we've created a sense of hopelessness. Imagine, you're young now. You grow up in a world where you're like, well, the climate's fucked. So human civilization may collapse within 25 years, according to the experts. We're now in our 30th year of climate conferences where nothing has come out of them. In the U.S. doesn't even bother to attend, even though it's the number 2 producer of greenhouse gases. Even if you are a pussy and you do what your parents told you and you become a computer scientist, oh, sorry, I know you wanted to be a code monkey, but AI is going to take that job away from you. So, even doing that's not going to help you. There's nothing you can do. Things are hopeless. The young people are not stupid. They see it. So, of course, they're fucking depressed and obstinate and willful and refusing. And, who can blame them? They're not wrong. We've handed them one hell of a fucking inheritance.
One thing that I can say, now keep in mind, I'm in Montana, right? So, it's a very small subsection of the country as a whole. Thomas right now is in Missoula. He's with one of his friends, and they are starting the only chapter of TPUSA in the entire state of Montana.
Don't get me started.
The turnout that they're having,
point.
the Charlie Kirk's thing. The turnout is massive. And what they're seeing is it's twofold. One, a lot of young people, they're interested and they're starting to, and to Ted's point, the professional class has utterly screwed them. So what they're doing is that they're turning to religion. That is the new counterculture. Yeah. They're becoming more conservative.
That's true.
And also what more and more of them are doing, they are jumping on the Nick Fuentes bandwagon.
Gee, that's healthy.
There's no alternative. Yeah.
Well, where are you going to go? Well, Ted, you have one political party that
Charlie's gone, so now you're stuck with Nick.
Yeah, and there is no socialism. There is no fucking people's movement. What I hate about things like the Turning Point is that they're basically they're sheepdogging young people into the Republican Party who are basically working for big business that's fucking them over.
But it's not, though. At least not. And again, this is a small piece I'm looking at. These are not people who are Ted Cruz Republicans.
Yeah, we got. Yeah.
No, these are people who are turning towards the Nick Fuentes thing, and his whole idea is that it's easier to hijack a plane than it is to build a new one. So that's what they're working on doing,
Yeah.
is just bringing a
Tell
populist
him to
revolt
call
inside
Bernie
the party.
Sanders and talk to him about the difficulty of taking over an existing corrupt political party.
Yeah.
But that's what they're saying, that local
on the
elections.
other side of it.
That's why they're saying that local elections matter more. Forget the national elections.
Look at AOC, right? The AOCification of like Zohran Mamdani is already afoot. Basically, he's someone like that's like, oh, I'm going to come in and take over the system. No, the system will take you over. It's it's just like when the Manchus invaded northern China, and it's like and then they won, and then like within 2 generations, the Manchus were all gone because they'd all interbred with the Chinese. They'd all been Sinified, right? Sorry, you guys, who really won?
All right.
Yeah.
But no, but Steve Daines.
We got to change.
Let me just say this real quick, and I'll go away. Steve Daines, he wanted to come and address them. They told him no. He's a state senator from Montana. He's our senator to DC. They told him no. You're not welcome here.
Good.
So I mean,
However, we are still talking about Charlie Kirk, hobnobbed with Trump. I mean, obviously he was sheepdogging for the GOP.
Of course he was.
Big tent. GOP is. That he wanted to big tent the GOP.
If you're on the real right, like Robbie is, the Republican Party is your enemy.
We hate it.
It's like, and if you're on the real left, the Democratic Party is your enemy. In fact, the Democratic Party is more an enemy to the left than the right, than the populist right is. And conversely,
I'm sending you back to producer land, Robbie. We got to move on to different topics.
Whatever.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Next topic, Teddy. That's yours.
Okay, all right.
This one's a good one.
All right, this is true. President Trump has launched a fiery public attack on his own FCC chairman's plan to loosen the caps on media ownership and throw his weight behind Newsmax. This dispute hinges on a major merger. Nexstar's bid to acquire Tegna would tile a network of 244 stations across 44 states, reaching over 80% of American households. Trump slams the plan with a social media post. No expansion of the fake news networks. If anything, make them smaller. He accused major outlets like ABC and NBC of functioning as a virtual arm of the Democrat Party. Newsmax CEO.
Is he wrong?
No, he's not really wrong about that. But of course, Newsmax is, of course, a virtual arm of the Republican Party.
Sure.
Anyway, Newsmax CEO Chris Ruddy, a long-term Trump ally, praised the president's comments and called the FCC proposal a disaster for conservatives. The central legal issue is about existing ownership rules. A previous cap, currently 39%, limits the number of households that one media group can reach. And law professor Brian T. Fitzpatrick argues that the FCC can't override that 39% limit unless Congress signs off on it officially. Nexstar, if only Republicans controlled the Congress. Nexstar, which owns the liberal-leaning News Nation and whose employees heavily donated to Democrats in 2024, is pushing hard for deregulation. In contrast, conservatives say breaking up ownership caps benefits liberal media consolidation under big tech. Trump's stance signals a shifting conservative media strategy, less about building new platforms, more about restraining expansion by networks who are against Trump. As the fight between Trump, the FCC, and the tech companies heat up, one thing's clear: the power of local broadcast and national news consolidation is now a frontline issue in the culture war, and Trump wants to be the referee.
Yeah, Ted, we can go back to the 1996 Bill Clinton era, the Telecoms Act, right? That what he said it was supposed to do, what Congress said it was supposed to do, was reform media laws, promote, competition and reducing regulations, and you can just be your own media, whatever. But instead, it loosened the reins so that a handful of companies can own all of the media in America. And we've seen all those memes of the talking heads at different local stations that are all owned by, let's say, Nexstar or Tegna. And they're repeating the exact same script. Black anchor, white anchor, Asian anchor, Mexican anchor, whatever. They're all saying the exact same thing. That is bad. There's no local media. This is the Telecoms Act killed independent media. I mean, now, well, I would say it's growing now because thanks to the interwebs. However, the way I'm saying independent in terms of like local papers and stuff like that, the way we knew it, right? It wasn't like 4 companies controlled all the TV stations in America, the terrestrial TV station. So I'm actually with Donald Trump on this. Even though like conservative media has just a couple of outlets themselves.
Yeah, but wait a
Mainstream
minute. So it's
TV
not, but Manila, it's not about the number of
it's owned
outlets.
by
That's
2
only part of the equation, right? I mean, Fox, like, okay, the biggest, most powerful, politically oriented television and media outlet is Fox News. Fox News has the highest ratings in that. I'm pretty sure their ratings are higher than both CNN and whatever it's called now, NBC now, formerly MSNBC combined, right? So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, currently conservatives dominate the media. They dominate broadcast. I mean, come on. Do I have to tell you what it's like driving across the United States, listening to talk radio? They're all conservative. Like I remember, like literally, you're driving along in the country in Eastern Tennessee, and you lose one channel listening to Sean Hannity, and then you get the next channel, and you're scanning. Oh, guess who's that? Oh, it's Sean Hannity again. You hardly miss a word amid the static conversion.
But this
right?
will cut both ways, Ted. The point to this whole thing is you should actually tighten up laws about how many companies or how many stations a company can own. And I think that the existing law, as shitty as it is better than it would be if you loosened it and said 2 companies can own everything across America. This is crazy.
Well, we used to have better laws. I mean, we used to have, for example, no media conglomerate, for example, was allowed to own both the morning and the afternoon paper. You were only allowed to own 1 AM and 1 FM station in every major metropolitan area. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pre mid 90s.
This was Bill Clinton who deregulated so much.
That's what I'm saying.
Such a
Telecoms
Democrat
Act
in name
of 1996.
Only.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, the Clintons, I don't think people really understand the damage the Clintons did when they rolled in to DC for 2 fucking terms. They are the ones that turned that party into the corporatists that we see today.
Correct.
So this is why the telecoms companies
and Obama expanded upon it.
Yes. So I'm actually with Trump on this one. So I say you shouldn't be able to own 80% of media outlets in America. Like, no, like, and it makes it harder, Ted, for let's say the TMI show saves up enough donation money that we're like, hey, we want to go buy, WXYZ, or I mean, there actually is a WXYZ.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
There really is. I think
Double
it's in Detroit.
WXXX. That porn politics channel that could be successful.
Like, let's say we want to go buy something. It actually makes it harder for us because somebody a big company, let's say Nexstar, learns that TMI, hey, they're really growing. They want to go buy something. Well, let's go fucking outbid them. We don't want to operate that channel. We're just going to buy it just so these guys can't have it and preach whatever they're preaching. They can do that. And the laws actually need to be tightened so that it controls it restricts how many stations a company can buy, because America shouldn't be, as the late great George Carlin said, America should not be one big strip mall of the same thing over and over. Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, like, we should not be that.
And yet I think it is.
Yeah, here we are. All right, let's quickly move on, Ted. How about this one? I wish this happened during Halloween because it's perfect. Over to Southeast Asia, to some of my peeps, a woman in Thailand shocked temple staff when she started moving in her coffin. Dun, dun, dun. After being brought in for cremation. So just in time.
Good Halloween story, yeah.
Wat Prakrong Tham, a Buddhist temple in the province of Nonthaburi on the outskirts of Bangkok, posted a video on its Facebook page showing a woman lying in a white coffin in the back of a pickup truck, slightly moving her arms and head,
which is, by the way, how I want to die.
bewildered.
I've always wanted to die the same way that, like, many of my classmates lost their virginities in the back of a pickup truck.
Oh, she wasn't that old. Okay. Pairat Sutup, the temple's general and financial affairs manager, told the Associated Press on Monday that the 65-year-old woman's brother, she was only 65, the 65-year-old woman's brother drove her from the province of Pitsanulok to be cremated. So they went to this temple. He said they heard a faint knock coming from the coffin.
Quote, hello.
I was a bit surprised, so I asked him to open the coffin, and everyone was startled. He said, I saw her opening her eyes slightly and knocking on the side of the coffin. She must have been knocking for
I
quite
hear you
some
knocking,
time.
but you can't come in.
You're an only child, but I have a brother. I'd be like, fuck you, brother. Like, you're trying, what the fuck? According to Pairat, the brother said his sister had been bedridden for about 2 years when her health deteriorated and she became unresponsive, appearing to stop breathing some 2 days ago. The brother then placed her in a coffin and then made the 500-kilometer journey to a hospital in Bangkok, to which the woman had previously expressed wishes to donate her organs. The hospital refused to accept the brother's offer as he didn't have an official death certificate. His temple offers a free cremation service, which is why the brother then, so the hospital says, no, we can't take, we need a death cert before we can take her organs out, which would be really fresh, Ted, because
as you know, we have talked about how there have been accounts here in the good old US of A,
yes,
the best country in the world, where people have donated their organs, and this is not once or twice, this has happened hundreds of times.
There's a whole
and it's kind of like, not dead yet. And it's like, shut up, and they kill you.
We'll help you dead you. We'll help dead you because your organs are more useful to us.
Yeah, so it's like,
the Thai hospital was like,
you could be walking in the street and that could happen to you, maybe. That's next.
Right. The Thai hospital was like, no. They were more responsible, Ted, than our hospitals.
True.
They had more ethics. So then the guy takes his sister to the temple, and the temple manager said that while he was explaining how to get a death certificate is when they heard the knocking, and they opened it, and there she was.
Hello.
So, happy ending, I guess.
I guess so.
Like, okay, so that's
all's well that ends well. So she's still around, right?
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, Ted,
back to work, bitch.
My grandfather, my paternal great grandfather, my mom's grandfather, he outlived his own son. He did this. They thought he died when he was like 80 something, and then it's customary and allows for the relatives to show up to your house and and gather around and say their goodbyes to you before they send you off to the temple to get cremated or whatever. So as the family had gathered around, I think he was, maybe at the time he was like 90 or so old, right? But as the family gathered around to say their goodbyes before they carted him off to the temple, and he was laying in his white casket thing, and he just sat up and looked at everyone and was like, why the fuck are you all crying? Like, what's happening? Give me my cigarettes. And one of my mom's like second cousins or whatever, she was his caretaker. She's the one that said, oh, he died. She called America. She called us, told them whatever. She passed out apparently, like when this happened. And
she swooned.
She was like, oh my God. Like, and he just so anyway,
shock.
He lived like another 10 years before he finally, for real.
By the way, this is not quite
died.
As extreme, but it reminds me of a friend of the show who, we'll call Scott Stantis because his name is Scott Stantis. And he told me that his father, like literally, they told him like, oh, it's like he's going to be gone. Like he's toast. So they gave away his clothes to like the Goodwill. Right. And then he recovered. And they were like, he rallied, and they were like, oh shit, Dad's gonna come home, and he's not gonna have anything to wear, and he's gonna be pissed. And then he
left.
Then he left the building.
Then
yeah.
he departed. Okay, but
Yeah.
just people chill on like.
Well, in the
cremating and
just
giving away
really,
organs and stuff.
When people are really, there should be a test, like a universal test to make sure people are dead. I mean, this is like, it seems like you would think that 1.2 million years into human evolution, we would have come up with this idea by now. But apparently it's time here in 2025, in the year of our Lord, common era, it's time to do that. And like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe just like drive a nail into someone's skull and just see if anything happens.
But what if they're not dead and you did that,
Oh,
Ted?
that would be bad. Well, maybe just poke them hard in the ass or something. But just make sure, because, when they dig up cemeteries, like, for example, medieval cemeteries during the Black Plague. So one of the bubonic plague, toward the end, you would often go into a coma, and people thought you were dead because they would feel for your pulse or your heartbeat, and they couldn't feel it. And so they buried a lot of people alive. And when they dig up these cemeteries, they often find scratch marks on the inside of the coffins. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! So no, just I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think we have it right now. But we got to get to an ad.
I like my nail in the butt idea.
Yeah, maybe
just take a nail gun and just right in the butt.
Just get a pin and prick their butt, and like people like people. That's not so bad. Robbie, go ahead and put that up. I'll read it, and then we'll get to this one last story, because Ted, this is really perfect time for the holidays, news that we can use. All right, let's get to our sponsor today. All right, still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped, only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus without the crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free, because ain't nobody like moldy coffee. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip, because freedom shouldn't be scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear, all yours for just $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up right here on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler alert, producer Robbie can confirm he's a big fan. It's worth it. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're all gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. All right. And Ted, this is the one we punted from yesterday, but I guess the timing works. We'll just read through it.
We'll be quick here. Nowhere safe from scammers this holiday season as deep fakes, scam texts, and polished phishing emails, that's phishing with a PH, flood shoppers' inboxes and social feeds. Generative AI tools have made scams look frighteningly believable and easier than ever to fall for. Cybersecurity and financial firms are warning of a spike in realistic phishing emails and texts, cloned e-commerce sites, and deepfake social media ads ahead of the shopping season. 62% of Americans say they're likely to buy something right away when they see a holiday deal online. That impulse leaves little time to catch scam red flags. Here are the top scams that you have to worry about. Number one, look-alike digital storefronts. Scammers clone legitimate e-commerce sites to steal your credit card info and push counterfeit goods. They use URLs that differ from the real ones by just a single letter, Amazon.com, and then amplify those sites via social media ads and phishing emails. Amazon, Temu, and other luxury brands. I don't think Amazon's a luxury brand.
Or Temu.
Or Temu are among the most impersonated during the holiday season, according to ForcePoint. Between the lines, large language models and autonomous AI agents let fraudsters spin up convincing storefronts faster. Chatbots generate product descriptions and marketing copy. Agents write and execute the back-end code for entire pages. AI image generation tools create logos and fake product photos. 72% of shoppers said that in a survey that they do buy merchandise from unfamiliar sites. Nearly 1 out of 5 in previous seasons have experienced items that never arrived. 16% of shoppers said that they've received counterfeit stuff.
Wow.
Expect a wave of emails posing as retailers offering steep discounts or quote-unquote exclusive holiday drops. These messages mimic legitimate brands, often leaking linking to those lookalike storefronts designed to steal your credentials. Fraudsters send fake refund notices and order problem alerts, according to ForcePoint and McAfee. And they're using AI to perfect the language in fishy emails, removing the grammatical mistakes that people are usually advised to look out for. Researchers expect a surge in texts exploiting shoppers' eagerness to track holiday packages. Messages often claim a missed delivery or demand an extra payment to confirm an address. Some even request the recipient's social security numbers, according to the FTC. Scammers also redirect complaints to fake tracking sites, Jesus, carrying USPS, UPS, or FedEx branding, or hide malware behind a tracking link. People have lost $470 million to text-based scams in last year alone, with delivery scams being the biggest culprit, according to the FTC. Scammers are also now using generative AI to produce realistic video ads promoting fake stores. AI cloning tools mimic celebrities' voices and faces to sell bogus discounts via TikTok and Insta that send views to the counterfeit store's site. Researchers have even found a deepfake video that cloned Taylor Swift to offer a fake deal for Le Creuset cookware sets. I like Le Creuset. I would buy that. 54% of Americans say that, yeah, why not? Say that they've made holiday purchases through social media ads, according to Norton. Gift cards are also a scammer favorite. The RH ISAC anticipates gift card sales will spike around Black Friday, this Friday, and Cyber Monday. 72% of consumers plan to buy a gift card as a holiday gift this year, according to the AARP. 1 out of 3 shoppers say they've given or received a gift card that turned out to have zero balance on it. Fraudsters steal the card numbers and pins from physical packaging, rapidly drain the money once a card is activated. So check the packaging on your card for any sign of tampering. If a deal seems too good to be true, go to a retailer's official site on your own without a link to check it out and see if it's there. Be skeptical of any text or email requesting payment, especially delivery fees or gift card codes, and call customer service before you enter your credit card info. Wow.
Yikes.
That's depressing.
It's gotten real, like that sophisticated and that bad. And AI is obviously being used to do the worst of the worst now. So just watch out this Friday and Monday, folks. If you're out there shopping, like that's just look at the domain. That's the main thing. Like that's, I think, the main takeaway. Look at the domain. So please be careful on the high holiday this Friday.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope, and Robbie will pop him on too. Say adios, amigos. Happy Thanksgiving. Eat your 5,000 calories or whatever. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving.
Calories.
Yeah, no,
and don't get scammed.
No, happy Thanksgiving and a very happy 18th birthday to my daughter Courtney. Her birthday is on Thanksgiving Day.
Happy
She's
birthday!
18 now, and she's be turning 18 as a blizzard blows in. I had some pictures earlier, and winter is here.
Yay!
Happy birthday and happy birthday, Courtney, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you, TMI fam. We'll see you back on Monday, on Cyber Monday. Adios,
Bye,
everybody.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye, everybody.